Hey everyone, and welcome back to the news. Alright, today it's a roundup episode. I have got a whole bunch of super interesting stories, starting off with something I think we all do kind of enjoy. The big tech behemoth that tried to stumble into gaming and just hurt itself in its confusion. That company is Google, who of course recently killed Stadia, which was their cloud gaming offering that was saying eventually that it would be giving us 8K 120 hertz on all of these insane experiences that it, just didn't actually give us. They launched a minimum viable product, and they launched it in a state not good enough in its overall proposition to actually catch on in the market. And this is absolutely bloody hilarious because Google have just announced a line of gaming Chromebooks designed for Stadia. Just that Stadia doesn't exist anymore. This is so embarrassing. Now, these new devices do still have a place in the market at the very least, because Google are now selling these Chromebooks as Chromebooks that are for cloud gaming. Of course, cloud gaming on not their service, because it's being sunset. Now, they do actually offer some fairly nice, if a bit confusing specs when you think about what a Chromebook is. So, 120 hertz plus high-resolution screens. I'm not exactly sure how many cloud gaming services are giving you like actual good quality 120 hertz. That's going to eat up a hell of a lot of internet. So, that's neat. I certainly love using a high refresh rate monitor, even in non-gaming desks. But, yeah, I don't know how well that'll work. We've also got RGB gaming keyboards with anti-ghosting capabilities. You wouldn't think that anti-ghosting would be a large worry, but again, Chromebooks are typically lower-end devices, so maybe that's an issue. Also, Wi-Fi 6 or 6E, which I suppose is going to be relatively important if you're doing cloud gaming, and at minimum, dual speaker setup, saying that their aim is to deliver a smooth, responsive gaming experience with 120 frames per second and console class input latency of under 85 milliseconds. Yeah, of course, latency still is an issue with cloud gaming. I will say from some of my experiences of getting the Backbone game controller and actually playing Halo Infinite just on my phone, I was surprised how good it can potentially be. That, of course, is with Microsoft's xCloud service. Now, just because Stadia doesn't exist doesn't mean that they're not trying to do some sort of compelling offering here, because out of the box, it will actually support NVIDIA's GTX 3080 tier of GeForce Now. That actually comes via a pre-installed app and 3 months of a free trial. And of course, it'll have immediate access to xCloud and Amazon Luna. And I guess if you're just able to rent a 3080, that maybe is going to be explaining our high refresh rate monitor options. Now, also, they're launching a Works with Chromebook certification with a few other manufacturers. And obviously, the reason why we're all laughing is that you can see how this was going to fit into Google's grand plan, right? They were going to have Stadia. Stadia was going to do super well. Then they were going to have Chromebooks that you could game on. And then, with people just using a Chromecast in their TV and then having a gaming laptop, Google would be just strong-footed with a nice foundation in gaming. But with Stadia gone, obviously, that plan is dead. Now these are just a Chromebook offering. And funnily enough, Stadia is not the only dead product that's floating in and around this. There is the Pixelbook. Yeah, actually, they announced that the next Pixelbook is cancelled, so you can still get one. Yeah, that's also something that has failed. And it is weird as we go into the fallout of things. So, you've got developers like Splash Damage that aren't even seeing the point in trying to salvage their multiplayer exclusive game, where we've basically just found out that Outcasters is dead. So that's a whole bunch of gaming hours just, gone down the toilet. Sucks for those developers. But at the very least, I will say there is one good thing that they appear to be doing. So this is from Rebecca Heinemann, who said that her Stadia representative actually has already asked her how much money their team had invested into the Stadia port of Luxor Evolved, and that Google would actually submit that for reimbursement. And there's been similar talks with other developers as well. So while they did cancel this, and we know that they're not leaving customers high and dry. It's good to know that the developers also are not being left high and dry as businesses, but certainly for the individual developers, the idea of spending a whole bunch of time in a game and that not working out, well, that obviously does suck. That's something that actually hits home pretty hard for us here as well. We do have projects in our project graveyard that people did spend a whole bunch of time on. Thankfully, though, The Pale Beyond, which is our game that is coming out very soon, does in fact have its demo available on Steam right now. I would just switch to the demo actually playing, but there's something like weird with my Steam account. It's developer issues. But yeah, hey, here's a screenshot of a nice little dinner time. But yes, The Pale Beyond, we've actually got just about 75,000 wish lists right now. We've had excellent performance for our demo. Our publisher are extremely happy with those numbers that we've been producing. And for people's opinions and stuff, honestly, they've been mega positive, which has been absolutely thrilling for the team. So the demo's going to be live at least through this weekend, so why not check it out? We're pretty generous. The demo is like 2 hours long, so yeah. I know it's the sort of game we like to introduce the mechanics slowly and all via character, so by the very end of the demo, you'll kind of have more of a feel for things. But yeah, I suppose technically this video is brought to you by The Pale Beyond, the game that we are developing and will be coming out soon. For our next story then, we've got a nice move from Microsoft. Yes, so offline DRM, quite an annoying thing, where basically they would run checks on your game disks when you were using their backwards compatibility service. So if you were running an Xbox One game and you suddenly lost your internet connection, it would not matter if that was a single-player game or not, you actually wouldn't be allowed to play it. The good news is that Microsoft has actually removed that requirement. And giving us some explanation of this is actually a Microsoft developer who just tweeted saying that they examined data since the X and S launch, and they've actually determined that the online compatibility check is not needed in the vast majority of cases for Xbox One discs. Now, they say that some games may still need to be updated online after install to ensure the best experience, but basically, this is a good move. While it probably will not impact a massive quantity of people, at the very least, it's a consumer-friendly move and some easy, free, good PR. And because taking snipes at Google is honestly just too much fun, so whenever you search for games on Bing, that search engine that we all use, and that game is available with Xbox Cloud Gaming, oh, look at this. It's one of the features, one of the amazing killer apps of Stadia. Being able to click a button and play the game all in your browser instantly. However, Google don't have a problem that Microsoft does. That is the fact that their search engine is extremely popular. As for Bing, the only time I used that was when I was trying to investigate what the Xbox and Microsoft rewards were like for what was maybe going to be a video, but I honestly couldn't hack it anymore. Now, one thing that we love to do here is take a look at what's going on the chain, and that is that we've actually got the first blockchain game release, on Epic. And this is fun because basically, you know, Team Gabe with Steam, they just said NFT games blocked, get away from here, piss off, we don't want you. They are flat out not allowed. Now, the thing is that Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, you know, running Fortnite, obviously the Epic Games Store, he did admit that, like, yeah, this space is really full of problems and, you know, it's potentially worth worrying about sometimes. But they did say that, look, their store, they are going to allow them. So we now have the first one that is there. And man, Connor team is amazing. He did a bit of a deeper dive into this, and there are some quotes from the, you know, I don't even want to use the word game developer really, as you'll find out, but there's some quotes that really I think you're going to enjoy because they just give up the goose completely. But yes, this is it's called Blanco's Block Party, and it's developed by Mythical Inc. and Third Kind Games. I have to imagine that Third Kind were just the poor bastards who were subcontracted to make the thing. Maybe, who knows. But yes, it's a vibrant, open-world multiplayer game styled like a giant block party, with a focus on custom art and design, building your own levels, exploration of user-created levels, and curating your own collection of unique and rare blancos. So I suppose you can think of your Second Life in your VR chat. You know, Second Life. That pioneering metaverse from so many years ago. Oh man, but yes, here's the thing. At the very least, the Epic Games Store does say that this game supports or includes the use of blockchain, NFT technology, or cryptocurrency. And basically, it's just a big old, all the money is done by the publisher. We ain't got shit to do with that. Because, obviously, if stuff goes south, they don't want people calling them up. Because you can have situations where, a whole coin just plummets in value. People lose 10x their investment. And suffice to say, they don't want their customer service to have to deal with that shit. Now, speaking of the people who are flinging this shit upon us, well, I've got a funny thing. This is a tale of, on the one hand, we've got brand partnerships. On the other hand, we've got them basically giving up the fact that no one really gives a shit about the game and it's all just a big fucking scheme for money. So they're very optimistic, though, with their, incredible, revolutionary blockchain character designs. That they've actually got brands with Burberry and Deadmau5. Yeah, Deadmau5, who as a child I used to call Deadma5 because I was stupid. Now then, if you may have expected, with all of this stuff being the blockchain, the idea that you can get your Burberry Blanco, that can be minted. What's that? $400? I suppose that's, cool. 400 bucks. Nice. If you think that this is all a big scam, well, here's what they said about the game they're making. The game doesn't have to be a grand slam. We're not trying to necessarily take on Roblox, but what we're seeing is the community loves it. The community really loves what we're doing. The brands love what we're doing. So we're definitely going to invest heavily behind it to really show this and show how all these new concepts we want to do. How does gameplay affect ownership? How can you play to earn? What does that mean in a game? So basically, don't fucking touch this. There's other things you can do. I mean, my god, this is basically just people putting a new tech stack behind fucking IMVU, or Habbo Hotel, or Second Life. All this shit that we have known about for years and years and years as gamers, that it turns out just a bunch of fucking tech bro grifters want to slide in and, gobble up some money. It very much seems like they are thinking play to earn first. They are thinking, how can we make this beautiful little false economy that really produces nothing of value that we can extract, of course, money from? That's what they're thinking of first. That's it, right? The management is not caring about games for people to play and enjoy. They are caring about a game platform that will, let them develop play to earn. And they want to think about how gameplay can impact ownership. Do you know what that's a little bit like? That's a little bit like me saying that tuning the grind in a game is an experiment in how grindiness impacts conversion rate of optional power-based microtransactions in a mobile game. That's the sort of thing we're getting at here. Now, to take a big leap back to another type of game, I actually watched the ACG review of this game just recently today, and it is Gotham Knights that unfortunately has a really, honestly to me, a big problem. It's a bit of a game killer problem, especially because this is the type of game that if I was playing it, I just get it in my PS5 and play it in the controller, right? Just, potato mode on the couch, you know how it is. So it doesn't have a performance mode on consoles, including the Series X. Like, the Series X and the PS5, they're beefy boys. They can play games like this at high refresh rates. Now, this is all interesting because in May 2022, they actually announced that they cancelled the last-gen version of the game. And I'm sure that's something that people really praised because they perhaps thought, wow, the last gen's been cut loose. Now, we're not held back. 60 FPS, boys, away we go. Nope. This is a statement from their executive producer. Due to the types of features we have in our game, like providing a fully untethered co-op experience in our highly detailed open world, it's not as straightforward as lowering the resolution and getting a higher FPS. For this reason, our game does not have a performance/quality toggle option and will run at 30 FPS on consoles. Now, to me, this is honestly quite interesting. When I look at this, what do I see? Well, they're talking about fully untethered co-op in a highly detailed world. So that's me thinking there's a lot of objects that the thing's got to deal with. But basically what it has me thinking is that this is a CPU bottleneck problem, that this is not a GPU bottleneck problem, because, obviously the consoles, they're very good for their threading, but they're beefier GPUs, right? They're designed for gaming. Of course, they're going to put the most into that GPU. Now, this is quite unfortunate. This is a game that generally has got, interesting impressions. I think some people finding it a bit grindy, other people enjoying it quite a bit. Seems like it's, not up there with the best of the sort of Arkham-like games, but hey, it is what it is. I'm sure it's a game that many people will enjoy, or perhaps would enjoy. Certainly, I would not purchase this game because, to me, in an action game especially, 60 FPS is absolutely vital. Even with God of War and the older consoles, they were sure to put in a performance mode, right? And that is a confusing thing. People have, of course, been quick to say, hang on a second, Cyberpunk, though. Like, Cyberpunk runs at 60 FPS on the Series S. And I'm actually pretty sure that in terms of teraflops, not that teraflops is what you should be thinking about. Seriously, this whole console manufacturers comparing the flops, it doesn't work like that. But the Series S, is that not the one that, like, in a few ways is actually slightly weaker than the PS4 Pro equivalent in Microsoft's end for the last gen? I think it was anyway, but anyway, it's neither here nor there, really. But yeah, people are disappointed. People are seeing that other developers essentially are not having this problem, right? So this all exploded. There was somebody, I believe an engineer or whatever, who was working in the game, just had a Twitter thread kind of explaining this decision a little bit. That person got absolutely flamed off the universe. What I would say here is, okay, so on PC, you're dealing with PC gamers. We're a crazy bunch, aren't we? But one of the things about us is that we understand settings, and we're used to having detailed settings menus. So a game manufacturer, they don't have the targets of 30 and 60 in PC. They have the target of uncapped, and fuck it, the PC gamers will do whatever they want. On console, though, they do have 30 and they do have 60. If I was to put my thinking cap on, okay? So have you ever hit, certainly if you've got an NVIDIA card, you ever hit, I think it's Alt-R to bring up the NVIDIA performance monitor, and you might see, oh wow, my game's running at a high FPS, but what's this, 99th percentile? And that's the idea that, your game could be running at 60 FPS, but if there's just a few poorly timed frames every second, it'll feel like absolute shit. And I have to imagine that they just weren't comfortable to say, okay, hey, fuck it, whatever. In consoles, there's an uncapped mode. Have at it. You might have frame rate spikes and dips and chug. Yeah. But ultimately, this is a pretty rough situation. I do think that if this game had infinite development time and, optimization time and all of that, that we would get the settings that we want. Evidently, though, there was probably some sort of go/no-go meeting made. For me, I see no excuse to not ship, at some point, an update that adds this feature in. Another issue, and something that I have seen, is a lot of developers really not being thrilled that Microsoft is very much requiring the Series S. In some ways that they're not finding to be particularly helpful. A lot of developers are kind of like begging Microsoft to ease up there. So we could be left in a funny little situation where this generation, while it is very much helped out by very powerful consoles, it could actually be hindered by Series S requirements, which would be kind of unfortunate. But sometimes all the money in the world cannot help bad optics, and that's what gets us on to Sony's very bizarre loyalty program. And basically, look, this is what the loyalty program is. They have some digital bing bing wahoos, which in another universe would have been NFTs perhaps, but they're not NFTs. They're just little digital collectibles that are explicitly not NFTs, right? So there's no like direct money comparison in a sort of trading your collectibles like their NFTs thing. But basically, you get points You earn this stuff by completing a variety of campaigns and activities. There's the monthly check-in campaign that just requires you to play any game to get a reward. Other campaigns ask you to earn specific trophies or be amongst the first people to platinum a blockbuster in their region. One of their first campaigns, called Hit Play 1994, is where members who correctly launch games that match song-based clues get a special collectible. So you can obviously see what they want to do here. Now, you might not be the same age as me. I'm 28, but what being 28 does mean is that I started, playing some games anyway around the same time that Gamerscore appeared on Microsoft. And way back in the day, I mean, with the likes of, say, I'm pretty sure what started off the Achievement Hunter channel, people were crazy about Gamerscore. Like, there would actually be some games that were just viewed as a bargain bin game to easily get you 1,000 gamer score. Microsoft obviously saw quite a lot of user investment with that system. With Sony then, they were a bit... I don't think they caught on as much early on, but certainly the idea of a platinum trophy, a lot of people will play to get a platinum. So I think Sony just want to deepen that. Right? They want people to invest even more and kind of earn even more because that deepens investment in their platform. And as we recently heard from Andrew Wilson, now this is a little bit apples to oranges, but he basically said, listen, time spent in the game is the thing that most correlates to money spent. So it's a little bit like that here. You just want more reasons for people to be doing PlayStation-related things. So, you know what? It just looks like a loyalty scheme, but it actually gets a little bit more rough because of what's in the final loyalty tier. Now, of course, as is tradition for loyalty schemes, you need humongous amounts of investment to actually get anything. So we've discovered the ratio. Sony awards you 10 PlayStation Stars points for every $1 you spend if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber. So if you buy NBA 2K23 for $74 after tax, you'll earn 740 points plus 50 points for completing the campaign objectives. So that's 790 points. So if you were to buy Sekiro, that's 15,000 points. The Quarry, 17,500 points. Hades, 6,250 points. That feels a bit more reasonable. Same price for Cult of the Lamb, and it takes to his 10,000 points. But the thing that's actually got people a bit more miffed, a bit more ticked off here, is this. Chat priority routing. Right? So you actually get, at the higher rank here, priority customer support from Sony. Now remember, this is all like PlayStation Plus subscribers. So some PlayStation Plus subscribers will actually get priority support because they've leveled up their PlayStation All-Stars. And frankly, the idea that people who just invest more money get express support, like, while that might be okay if you select, say, the enterprise tier of, some SaaS company for your business, I think that in the realm of gaming, this is not really something that we like to see. Now, finally, we got two things. One, a nice little follow-up. This is for Togi Productions and Space for the Unbound. They had a big old falling out with their publisher, P-Cube, where they were basically withholding diversity-based grant funding from the teams and generally just not fulfilling their end of the deal per contracts for console publishing. But actually now, all parties have came to an amicable settlement where the console versions will be published by Chorus Worldwide, and all the grant monies that were passed, or have been passed from P-Cube to Togi. So this, yes, is great news. Happy from all sides. I'm sure that it's through perhaps, gritted teeth for P-Cube. And finally, as we have so eloquently got here in our show notes, also Lamau, Ubisoft lost its Splinter Cell director. As a certain other person says, oh, Ubisoft. You guys never catch a break, do you? Who knows? Maybe this is perfectly normal. But goddamn, if you like Sam Fisher, as I do, we've not been having a great time, have we? So there you go. That is it for today's episode of The Roundup, giving you a whole bunch of fun little stories. And of course, if you want to play the game that we are developing, I mean, it's basically done. We're, doing over the finish line things, of course, so I obviously cannot give you a date. That's the sort of thing that we have to, do with our publisher, and we'll announce that together when the time is right. But you can play the demo. Yes, you can play the demo. The demo is very much the easing you into things, the false sense of security. But if you play the older demo, no, it's actually updated with, new mechanics. Things are just significantly more, let's just say, polished than in the older demo. So, you can go play the demo. It's like 2 hours, 2 hours of gameplay. Actually, for some people, it's been more than 2 hours of gameplay, which we thought has been very cool. It's been fun seeing people's, feedback, which is, I'd say, pretty much been unanimously very positive, which has been thrilling for us. People have been so kind with bug fixes. If you head over to our Discord server, there's an area there to submit bugs. We've actually, right now, we've got, it's funny, it's a QA company called Testify, and we actually shared an office with their two co-founders. Literally, they were here and we were here in the same room. So we have a whole bunch of testing going on with them in QA. Our latest hire on the game development team is specifically just on QA, so him and Thomas are just, going bam, 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 killing bugs, which has been really, really cool to see. Of course as well, the bug fixes or reports that came from the community. It's just all been really fantastic, and to be honest, I'm just feeling fantastic about the state of things. So if you want to play our demo, you can, of course, just check that out on Steam. You can just search for The Pale Beyond or click the link down below. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you next time.